The Chaos is quite a dark song, and it's about quite a heavy subject, really. The idea of there seems to be a pattern of, that has constantly been in motion since the beginning of time, which is all about to grow and to evolve, but it's done in a very frantic and chaotic manner, but there is an order to it, you know, and that's why I wanted to use that little contrary motion thing, because it seems chaos, but it's simple. It's a simple linear idea. Combining chaos with straightness, I think, is what we do. It's what we've always done as a band, is to kind of, you know, mess up the straight bits and straighten up the messy bits. Really, that's what we do.
I saw you guys was here 2 years ago. What's changed for the band since then?
Well, not a great deal, really. I don't think, you know.
Not like, you know, we've got a new record. Personally speaking, one of us is a son heavier.
and a nephew.
And a nephew, of course, Baz, I've got to forget.
Jaff did a marathon on Sunday, the London Marathon. Oh no, he did it properly. He wasn't dressed as like a carrot or something.
Forrest Gump style.
No, he was doing it for real. Well, not to say that people who get dressed up as caterpillars or carrots aren't doing it for real, but Jaff's a serious sportsman. He's a mathlete actually. I think what happened was, you know, we accidentally got signed to a major during a time when major labels were still powerful. They still are, obviously, but they were a lot more powerful than they are now. We kind of got in right at the very end of this kind of era of basically music business indulgence. Kind of saw the end of that, kind of watched it die. We were part of that death. And then I think what happened was we just went back on the path that we were always meant to be on.
Yeah.
So we had this experience of making 2 albums, when really the whole time we should have had our own record label and have been a kind of punk rock band, independent. But because we got offered this opportunity, which we weren't expecting, we took it and went on a bit of a roundabout, you know, a kind of. But now here we are. I think this is where we belong. You know, we're not. We could have more fans. We could have fewer fans. You know, it's quite a small venue tonight. You know, it's only a couple of 300 people, 400 people, or something like that, isn't it? You know, some people think we should be playing maybe in front of much bigger crowds, but you know, this is where we are, and we're happy to be here. You know, we're happy to play for the people who want to come and see us, and we're not trying to become a massive band like the Killers or something like that, or maybe some of our contemporaries who went on to sell millions of albums. That was never our role, never our destiny. And even though we're given this kind of the carrot dangled in front, you know, you can never eat the carrot. You know, you've got to. It's always in front of you, so you just got to enjoy the fact that you're a donkey.
There's a great thrill in the chase. It's famous, the thrill of the chase.
I don't know, to be honest, I think we felt like we were recording the 3rd album in the spirit of the 1st album, as in it was kind of rejuvenated approach. But really, in hindsight, you know, it was a thing of its separate, you know, separate to anything else. I think this album is more spirited in that way.
Yeah, like we sort of like wrote and recorded a lot of the songs in the same rehearsal room that we used for the first record, and we were at home for a quite sort of elongated stretch of time for the first time since the first record, you know. And I think that the way that we wrote songs for this album, given that we started with 4 or 5, recorded them, then went back to the drawing board and done 4 or 5 more and kept adding to the album in that way, made it feel like it was back at the beginning again, you know, kind of in the style of when bands don't have albums or record deals in mind and you're just basically writing songs to kind of get on with it. I think that's kind of what we were doing on this record, because we didn't have any deadlines or any kind of time constraints really.
I'm really chuffed with this record, I've got to say. It's been 10 years since we formed, and for us to still have to be holding on to whatever it is that we have, you know, our creativity, I think is just, I think it's quite rare, you know, for the amount of things that have happened to the band over the years. I think it's quite incredible actually that we've managed to make such a bombastic and confident record. After that, you know, we've proved to ourselves that we kind of, this is our life, you know, this is our reason for being here, is to do this band, and that takes a lot of time and I think courage to kind of realise, because you know, you get criticised for this and that, you have successes and failures, but it's about holding on to your relationship with each other really, and it grows, you know, and you become better and better musicians, and it's just a very different experience to I guess what we thought it would be. Or every band's got their own unique space in the world, you know, and ours is quite an interesting little tale really, if you think about it, you know, like comparatively. There's a lot to the band, you know.
Oh, totally. It's kind of, I think, sort of, you know, every band has like carves their own little story out, you know. And I think that because we've 4 records in, we've kind of gone down a lot of different little back alleys along the way, you know. And there's been a lot of things happen with the band. And yeah, I mean, we feel like with this record, and by, you know, kind of the way that we're releasing it, and the way that we just operate as a band now, it's sort of it's on our terms, and we're responsible for everything, including the amount that we get out of this whole process and this way of doing things. You know, it's up to us to have a good time. It's up to us to give other people a good time also.
We wrote it very quickly with Youth, who was in charge of, I guess, 1/3 of the album. It was one of those things where Youth will go and write a song. And like, go and write a song. Like,
dismissive.
Like, all right, then I'll show you. We'll
improvise.
What about this one? It's like, ooh, I like that. It's dark.
Right. And you've got like a little.
It's like, do something like Billy Idol. Billy Idol, yeah. You know, it's kind of, all right.
So there's the peroxide vampire element right away.
We wrote it with Youth. Well, Youth wasn't writing it with us, but we did it in his session. And he brings something out of us that is latent in us, but we don't really know how to access without him.
Yeah, it seems that way. I think it's that sort of like spontaneity or kind of like simplicity in songwriting that I think we sometimes sort of would dismiss or overlook, or like, you know, not be content with kind of keeping quite simple, you know, but under his sort of guidance or his sort of rule, if you like, you kind of have to keep it simple, because he simply doesn't allow you the time to bother doing anything else with the piece, you know. He sort of keeps it very, very organic and very straight. And yeah, I mean, on this record I think it's good that we've got a little bit of a mix of that with a handful of tracks that we did with him, and then like a load of other songs that we recorded in separate sessions, and I think it gives a nice balance to the album that we've maybe not had for a while, you know. Aye. Oh, of course you've spoke before, haven't you?
No, we won't be going in with Youth, because I want us to do it ourselves. Really, I'd like us to have a go at doing it ourselves.
Yeah, man, and it would be nowhere near as jazzy with youth as without him. That's for sure.
Christmas isn't just for Christmas.
It's for the rest of your life.
I wrote a Christmas song in spring.
Still wintertime weather in the northeast in spring, man.